Okay, so I figured I would make this video. I'm building all of our stuff for the new year, our sales stuff, our support stuff, everything kind of coming together. And I realized that with a lot of the builds, that all of these pieces are here for you to build the puzzle, but you've never probably seen the puzzle built fully. And so even though I have some work here, I'm going to scrap it. And we're going to build a support RAG enabled, so third party RAG. I'm going to use the Supabase RAG from a video before. I'm going to set that up completely here with you today. This is going to be on a widget that's going to be hosted in the platform and on a web page, and so you'll see me build out the widget and customize it the way that I like to, and we'll just completely build this thing from scratch. I already have some stuff built, but I'm just going to get rid of it completely, just so we can go through it together. So I'm going to go over to the screen. All right. We have a couple things we need to do. Let me set out a mind map for you. Okay, now before I go 1 second further on this, this is going to be a longer video. Now I hope it's not going to be too long. I hope we're like max 30 minutes because I'm going to speed through some of this stuff and I'll edit a lot of it out later. But I'm going to try to go through everything and we're going to deploy this, and this is actually going to be in the platform. This is one that you'll talk with. And I'll show you the steps on how I do it. Now I usually don't do it this formally, but for this video I am. So on this screen, I just built out a basic doc, a basic build checklist that I need to do. So I have a goal for this, which is, for this one, this is going to handle our first level of triage and support. So just like traditional FAQ, first level triage of handling things like maybe calendar, errors and go high level, things like that. So that's kind of the goal here. And I'm going to be using a RAG system, a third-party RAG system from Supabase from the Buildship video to do it. Mostly just to answer questions. Now it'll have some pre-built tools to, like update information and stuff so that we can keep track of interactions, but it's going to have very basic functionality. It's going to be mostly conversational. What I do need for this is I need to build out the assistant, and I'm going to test out the conversational ability and refine that using the voice lab. A lot of people come and ask about the voice lab and things like that, and really what that's for is like to test the conversational ability before you go into crazy things. There's steps into building production level AI. There's first refining the conversational ability, right, because that's kind of the most important part here. Then there's the ability of tying in your tooling and your abilities and things like that, and then there's the deployment, which is getting it out there, and that's your active tag, your number, your widget, right? And those are really kind of the main three things, and we need to make sure they all work together. And it's kind of like if you're working on a car or you're doing something like that, if you throw too many variables in there at one time, right, you don't know what caused what. And so the voice labs, particularly what we're going to use this for, is the conversation ability to refine that, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and making sure that it's calling, the correct information, everything in that call. And we need to build out a document. What I'm going to do for this one is what I suggest for anyone who's going to do this RAG setup here is I'm just going to record myself talking for like 30 minutes, and I'll cut that part out, but I'm going to record it here on this microphone, and I'm going to take that voice recording, turn it into text, and then turn that text into a PDF to upload. The other thing we need is just to set up a quick Buildship RAG system. I'm just going to use the remix link from that other video. It's literally just 2 clicks, and I need to set up the Supabase along with it. And then we need to upload that document there, get that all done. And then we need the button widget. We need to build that out, get it exactly how we want it. For those who don't know, we use a specific type of icon. You can look this up here if you want to see what's available, if you don't feel like scrolling through them. Here they are right here, right? You could view the icons and see what's here. We have most of these, but I'll be using, I think it's handshake heart or something like that. Use this one, really good for support. And we'll test that on a go high level page and make sure it's calling all the functions supposed to, and we'll be good. And ultimately what this is going to go into is the different portals, so the workspace and the app. But I'm going to test it on a go high level page because I'm just going to hard code mine just so it's in the platform, but the same rules apply either way. So now we have our goal, we know what we need to do, we have our steps. Let's go ahead and do it. And so just to do all this, I have this one already built. I'm going to get rid of it. And I have this assistant here already built. I'm going to get rid of it. And let's start fresh here. So I'm going to create the assistant. I'm just going to start from a blank model. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in my folder here. And I'm going to favorite this one. Okay. I don't need an active tag. I don't need a phone number because this is a widget deployment. Think of, when you think of your phone number, your active tag, and widget, those are deployments, right? So we have, let me level with you here. Hold on one second. We have our AI. The AI is, at the end of the day, just a conversation. All right, we have our tools, which allows that conversation to do something, right? Whatever it may be, pre-built, custom tool, whatever. And then we have to have a way to get this conversation somewhere, which is a deployment, which is your phone number, right? Inbound, outbound calling, which is your active tag, any go high level active channel, and a widget, which is putting it on a website, putting it wherever you want it. Those are our deployments. And so I'll build a mind map of this one day of how these things kind of all work together. But just remember, we have our AI, and that can be deployed 3 different ways, and all synchronous in that way. But that's a deployment. So I thought I'd level with you right there. So let's go back here. Now I'm going to build a simple identity for this one, which is your Haley, the support assistant. Feel free to skip through this too, because I'm going to make this kind of long on purpose so you can literally see something from like a concept to in production. You'll be able to use it in the platform. And so I figured we'd get really kind of boring with this one, because I'll try to explain everything as I go along the way here too, of why I do what I do when I do an actual like deployment, or if I ever have to do a build out or anything like that. Okay, so when I form an identity here, I'm going to level with you again here. When I form an identity here, you have to think that AI, at the end of the day, is really good at assuming a persona, right? Almost like it's playing a character. And so when I give the AI an identity to follow, I want you to think like very similarly to how I would tell a human how to act like somebody else. Almost like how you would tell an actor to be, Walter White or something like that. You're Walter White, Walter does this, Walter's also this, Walter says this, he is the danger. So you kind of want to like lay out a character for the AI to play. And that's who the AI assumes when it goes out and has a conversation, is this character that it's going to play, right? Because AI at the end of the day is the base LLM. It is what it is. But if we have a character for it to play, it's a lot stronger for it to keep in character as it's going through conversation. And so I'll lay out this character I have in mind, which is Haley, the support assistant for an AI platform, because we're going to do this white labeled here, so it's going to be in the main portal too. Haley is a bubbly, kind, and helpful support assistant who always finds a solution for the user. All right, and when I say the user, that means the person talking to them, by the way. I see some people in prompting, they'll say contact, they'll say lead, they'll say whatever. There's nothing wrong with that, but in AI context here, user is correct verbiage and it understands it best. In fact, I'll show you this. All right, so don't let this overwhelm you. Seriously. We're just having a chill vibe. Go get a coffee and get your notepad out, get your iPad out, take some notes. Seriously, this is going to be everything you need to deploy AI production grade today in this video. I'm going to guide everyone here. But don't let this overwhelm you. But this is just to show you that when AI is having a conversation, there's a couple roles that it understands conceptually that's going on. And your prompt is like the system message, right? So that's like what's telling it what to do. But we're not worried about none of this. We're worried about these two right here. User and assistant. In a conversation, when there's two people going, I'm going to level with you here. Pay attention here. When me and you were talking right now, right? This is a one-way conversation because it's on camera. But if me and you were talking right here, it's a two-way conversation. I know I'm me and I know you're you. So I know how conversations work. AI is pretty similar, right? Except it understands in the verbiage of assistant and user. User is the person having a conversation with the AI. It's the user of the AI in that moment, right? And I'll also conceptually say this is that AI has no concept of users at any given moment of time, right? When you're having a conversation with an AI, there's only the user at any point in a given time. Now, this thing could be having millions of conversations, but in that specific conversation, which is what you are prompting for at any given moment, it just knows user. It's a scalable way to use it, right? So when we prompt for really, really good verbiage, we say, talk to the user, or when you're doing this, ask the user this. And the reason is because at any of these million conversations going on, that prompt is sitting in all of those, and it knows that it's just talking to the user at that point in time. It has no concept of other users. It just knows the user. Conceptually, it does understand contact. Conceptually, it does understand lead. Conceptually, it does understand David from Haralson County, right? It does conceptually understand that, but if you really want a scalable prompt that is very deterministic in the way it works, we have to play by AI rules. And the rule here is that it understands user is who it's talking to. All right, that would get that out of the way. So when I prompt, I don't say help the customer, I say help the user, because conceptually it knows that it's helping the user of the conversation at that point in time. Now I'm going to give it a role to play just for some conversational ability. So I've kind of given it who it is. Haley, support assistant for an AI platform. Haley's bubbly, kind, helpful. Haley always uses, and again, I'm talking almost in like third person because I'm talking like it's a character that the AI is going to play, right? This is not who the AI is. The AI is OpenAI at the end of the day. But the character that this AI is going to play at any given point in time is Haley. And so we have to explain who Haley is. Who is this character? Haley always uses concise language and responses when precise language when responding to the user. And now I'll say Haley always responds. I'll say when asked, because it's going to be white labeled. What company Haley works for. Haley always responds that she works for the user to help with AI. And let's go over just, I'll take some peeks here. Okay, so I'm going to take this from another one and lay it out. We'll just kind of use the same verbiage here. Haley's job is to help the user with their AI deployment by answering questions, doing triage on problems, common problems. And then offering specific technical support and implementation guidance using her knowledge base. And let's say Haley is very casual and typically and is known for responding very casually and as concisely as possible to make the user feel comfortable talking with her. And Haley always avoids emojis and interjections in responses. Haley, while always being casual and concise, always is very professional and has high satisfaction reviews from the user. Okay. Now I'm going to use the traditional style guide rail and response guideline. This is an any generated model, and it's anywhere. I mean, you can just generate a model real quick and you can just pull this from it. And so this is going to be Haley, support assistant. We'll do production support assistant Haley. And then we need kind of a task-based framework here, even though this is kind of an open conversation, open dialogue thing. We need the ability to kind of keep Haley on task here. Okay, so what do we want Haley to do in this isolated conversation that they're going to have? Well, the first thing is probably greet the user and introduce yourself. Ask the user how you can make their day easier. That may be a good one. And then we'll just say, so this is going to be very, very simple. I'm telling you, it's just question answer at this point. We'll say, analyze the user's response. And let's say analyze and query the user's response using the tool knowledge underscore base to get information from your knowledge base before answering. We'll say use this information from the tool knowledge base when responding to ensure you give accurate responses and information to the user. Let's say note. The tool knowledge base takes your query, takes the user's query, which is just query is just the contact asking a question. This is just proper language to say user is querying something. The tool knowledge base takes the user's query and embeds it against a knowledge base to return accurate answers using RAG. Use this tool for every question the user asks in order to get accurate information for your response. Okay, and that second bullet point may just be a little, I don't know if we need that, but we'll come back. And then before ending the conversation with the user, make sure to ask the user if there is anything else you can help with. And then when ending the conversation, the user, thank the user for their time and encourage the user to come back anytime for more information and see how you can help. Use tool end call to end the call with the user. I probably am going to do an important section here too, just for kind of outlining some stuff I have here, like what the tools are to the assistant. And we'll probably put the concept of that it's on a call with the user here in the important section. Okay, and in this important section, conversation you are having with the user is via a web call in the browser. And we can do this as an important section or a context section, doesn't really matter. But I'm going to feed it kind of this context so it understands like what's going on. You have access to a couple of tools. Which is end call, the ability to end the call yourself. And I think we'll probably do knowledge base to query the user's response against a database. Accurate answers. I think we'll probably have create note on there too. So I'll probably just go ahead and put these all on here. So we'll have create task, we'll have create a note, and probably send email. Update details. And so we'll say create task, the ability to create a task for me is assigned if there is an action item a human needs to take care of. Create node, and you don't, by the way, you don't have to do this, but I'm just giving it as much context as possible. I really want to set it and forget it when it comes to this deployment here. And so I'm just kind of laying out in plain language, you know, in the context of what the use case is for this, what these tools do. Now these tools work autonomously, but I also probably want this to be able to use these also contextually and conversationally for specific key points, which I'm going to outline here for these tools. So this is like really not a necessary step, but when I think of like, you know, contextual, right? Contextual, this is just what it can do. Create note, the ability to create notes for the user's contact. Use this for any key information of note to remember about the user or important queries that may need to be referenced. And I'll probably go back through here, use this tool when responding to the user's queries to ensure accurate information. Use this tool whenever you need to end the call This can be for the end of the conversation, or if a user is being rude, or to end the interaction. And create task, use this tool every time an action item comes up in the conversation. To ensure someone from our team takes care of the task at hand. Sure. And I'm gonna put this higher up here. Update details. The ability to update the contact information about the user. This information includes first name, last name, email address, and phone number. Use this tool to collect and store information about the user, and also to confirm the user's information if the user makes a correction or requests an update of their information, either directly or indirectly. Use this tool to update that information. Okay, and let's do, I actually may take send email off because this is going to be a white labeled thing and I don't really need update address. Keep it simple, kiss it, always keep it simple. You don't want to overcomplicate these things. All right, this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna test this now. Okay, and just to test, I'm not gonna spare you with it because one, I don't even know if you'll be able to see hear the responses or anything like that. But I'm gonna test it. Use the voice lab to test the conversation that goes on, right? The voice lab doesn't have access to a contact ID. We're not a contact, we're an admin technically in this case. So we use these to test the conversation ability. Once we get the conversation right, we can worry about tool calling. So I'm going to test this conversation real quick and we'll come back. Okay, prime example, right? You don't get into tool calling until you get your conversation right. Now, because I gave it the ability to end the call and I set this almost as a task-based framework, it ended the call with me after, I didn't have the tool on there for knowledge basing. So it gave me an answer to what it thought it may be and then hung up because that's how the task-based framework, is set out. So we'll also say loop through, actually we'll do this. The step until all of the users' queries have been answered. And I think what I'll do here is take this ask the user what else you can help them with today. And almost like a college essay, this is our first draft, right? We're going to get everything kind of pieced together with duct tape, and then we will go back and refine it because this is not how I want it to be. I want it to dive deep into triage. So we're going to modify our test-based framework in the future. Again, right now, all I'm doing is making sure the conversation is up to par with the ability to go through and test tooling. So I'm going to test again real quick. Okay. So back testing. See, this is much better. I came to it with I can't connect my calendars. Of course, it can't call tools or anything like that. So I tried to make a note of that. And then kind of gave me at least traditional like triaging steps. Like it said, what issue are you facing? Are you getting an error message or it's not syncing? I told it this. It kind of gave me basic level triage, like refreshing the page, clearing the cache. And then I clicked off into another tab. So it stopped the conversation. But this is actually good for a first draft. Let me level with you here. It's a first draft. Whenever you're building production grade AI, it's not going to be perfect your first run around. In fact, this will not be perfect at the end of this video. It's still going to have to go out in the wild and get, all the use cases in the wild, and we'll still have to refine it later. That's fine. I'll even walk you through kind of how we do that. But the thing is, we're going to get it as close as possible. Get it out in the wild, answering questions, and then have some fail-safes in place for things that it can't answer so that we can go back and retrain it later. It's all kind of a work in progress here, right? It's like having an employee. You don't train your employee day one and they're amazing for the next 50 years and then they retire. It's like, okay, well, sometimes we have to refine it. Times change, questions come up, features get added. And so you'll always kind of be maintaining this thing. It's like a vehicle. You'll be maintaining this thing along the way. But we want to get it running and driving. If it's running and driving, we can get A to B. And then we can start adding some fun stuff, right? So I think this conversation looks pretty good. And now this is great. This is a great first draft. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to go in the team notes and I'm going to say first draft of prompt. And I'll drop that here so that we have that just for later. Now, it's going to be in the history there too, but I like to use these notes almost as just kind of a workspace just to organize my thoughts. Now, I do want to make a note and refine deeper levels of triage, meaning have the AI dive deep into the solution or into the problem and collect as much information as possible before trying to triage. Okay, that's fine. Now that we have our basic conversational aspect here, let's get into our RAG setup, which is knowledge base. Okay, now there is some prompting things I do want to try out from another one that I've been testing. It's our sales one, and I'm going to add some personality traits here. So right now, I have an identity. I have my style guide rails, my response guideline, which you can just grab from any generated AI. I have an important section, which is just context sharing, like, where you're using a web call in the browser, you have access to a couple tools. And then we have a simple loop on the task-based framework. However, this is probably going to change. In fact, for this use case specifically of support, I may not even use a task-based framework. I may just kind of use a goal loop. But on this one, I want to add some personality traits to kind of build on the personality of the AI itself. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say Haley is known, again, because we're kind of talking as this character the AI is going to play, to be bubbly, for her way to make everything relatable. And then let's do Haley is the number one, so we can assume this persona of a really good support rep. Haley is the top or the number one customer support rep for the AI platform for over 3 years now. Is that true? No, but it's the persona we want this AI to take on. And this is because Haley can turn any situation into a positive interaction that always results in a solution. And maybe we add something here. I've been testing this one out. Actually, we'll leave that one off. That's fine. So we have our identity, our personality traits, style guide rel, response guideline. I have an important section, which I think I'll kind of outline here in an important developer instruction section. I do want to kind of lay out a goal. And again, I'm kind of testing this prompting style just to kind of go through like production deployments. Let's do goal. And we'll tell the AI your goal is to conversationally build rapport with the user. Guess I can't type today. Listen to their problem carefully and offer meaningful, tangible solutions to keep the user of the platform happy. Okay. Now, I have sort of a thing that I'm going to throw here for the instead of the task-based framework. Just because usually with a task-based framework, let me level you real quick. With a task-based framework, we're basically outlining steps 1 through whatever, right? So we're kind of telling the AI, I expect you to do these things, and this is the order I expect you to do them in. But if it's something in support where we may have this, like, we may have a similar thing, but it's almost like a loop, right? So we need to listen to problems, we need to triage, we need to offer solutions, we need to query a database, and then we need to do that again. It's more of a repetitive type conversation, especially if this is going to be used by one user multiple times, right? So, you know, the customer lifecycle, rather than going from sales, support, success, is just going to be support for this one. On this one, I think what we'll do is we'll do more of like a goal loop, and I'll kind of show you an idea of that. Hold on one second. Okay, so let me go back to the screen here. Now, I like this prompt. This also gives me an idea for a feature idea, is to do like prompt storage, and so that you can use them, but I'm just using Team Notes for this right now. We'll keep that one in there. I think I'll do that. I'll do prompt storage, so it's like a variable. And I'm not going to break this down because I still want to visibly be able to see this. I'm going to put this in a document actually over in another screen. But I am going to take this part out. And what I'm going to do is instead of giving it tasks, right? Like it's not deterministic. Like sales is more task based, like qualify them, do X, Y, Z, if this and that, book an appointment. Or support, you know, maybe to a certain degree can kind of be categorized like this, where we may have to loop through it. Okay, so what I'll probably do is I'll probably keep that task-based framework in here, but I'm going to do something else. Support protocol. And what we're going to do is we're almost going to use this like a looping workflow where we have the idea of the task-based framework, but then the task-based framework almost enrolls it in the support protocol. Let me give myself some room here. Where we'll probably do this. Where 2 will be down here. And so I'm going to give it some important sections down here where it can reference some protocol information. I'll say important support protocol can only be followed once you have collected and confirmed the user's first name, last name, email address, and phone number. And we'll say that's fine for now, just so we know who we're talking with and we can greet them with their name up here. And so first, we'll say understand the user's problem or concern. We'll say problem, concern, or reason for reaching out. I'm going to expand on this and say ask questions to find the root cause of the problem or reason for outreach. So that you fully can offer a tangible solution. We may put that in the important section to the user. And say narrow down the user's query in plain language to make the user feel like you understand. You could, I'll probably cut all this out, but you can skip through this. This is just me kind of thinking through this prompt, especially this newer style that I've been using that's been really successful on the sales side. And repeat the issue back to them by asking the user if that sounds about right. And we'll elaborate on this. If the user says no, ask the user to elaborate and repeat step 1. Conversationally. The user says yes. Create the user's, let's say use this. Use the tool knowledge base to query the user's response to get the recommended solution / response to the question, then respond back to the user. And again, this is like refine. We'll refine this. So I want this to greet the user. Let's do introduction. Introduction step. Email address. Number. So if you know the user's first name, last name, email address, and phone number, greet the user and introduce yourself. No, we don't really need to introduce ourselves. And ask the user how you can make their day easier. And then on the other side of that, if you do not know the user's first name, last name, email address, and phone number, go to information protocol, step 1. Okay. And on this one, greet the user, ask you how you can make their day better, and go to the support protocol, step 1. And this will be 2, 3. So now we have a support protocol, we have our task-based framework, and this is going to be our information protocol. And we'll just basically say collect and confirm info. So we can save it and it could be referenced later. And we'll say conversationally. Actually, I'll put that in the front. Conversationally ask the user for their name. Make sure you confirm the spelling of their name. Conversationally ask. Move to step 2. Conversationally ask for their email address. The email address. Then move to information protocol step 3, which will be phone number. And then we'll say this will be step 1 of support protocol. This will be phone number. Okay. It is, let's say you are required to have first name, last name, email address, and phone number for the user before triaging any solutions to make sure the document their experiences, something like that. Okay. Your goal can be accomplished by following task section and accompanying protocols. Okay. Understand, concern, ask the users for the cause of the problem. And then we will go to support protocol Step 2. This is probably really boring, but this is building AI. This is what you chose to do for a living. Okay. Can probably elaborate on this. This is probably really long, but I also don't really feel like touching it after it's deployed, especially with the RAG. So I'm going to test this. I wonder if you can hear this. Let me check the volume here.
Hi there. Thanks for reaching out. Can I grab your name to make sure I've got it right?
Yep, it's Jordan Williams. That's Jorden Williams.
Got it, Jordan Williams. Thanks for confirming your name. Now, could you share your email address so I can have it on file in case I need to send over any resources?
Yep, it's going to be jordan@assistable.ai. That's ASSISSTABLE.ai.
Thanks for that. Just to confirm, your email is jordan@assistable.ai, right?
Yep, perfect.
Thanks for confirming your email, Jordan. Lastly, could you share your phone number in case we get disconnected?
Yep, that's going to be 770-296-7271.
Thanks. Just to confirm, your phone number is 770-296-7271, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks for confirming. All right, Jordan, now that we've got everything set, how can I make your day easier?
I'm having a problem connecting my calendar.
Got it. You're having trouble connecting your calendar. Does that sound about right?
That's what I said.
All right, let me look into that for you real quick. I'll make sure someone from the team looks into this for you. It seems like I can't resolve this directly, but I'll make sure someone from the team looks into your calendar connection issue ASAP. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Nope, that's all. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jordan. Thanks for your time, and feel free to reach out anytime you need help. Have a great day.
Okay. Wasn't bad. I wish it would have done, but it also doesn't have the tool to call here. But I think what I'll do, because this was perfect, I need to, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a 4-step. I'll say use the tool, update details to save the information for the user to remember for later, and then move to step 1. And this one will go here. Then move to information protocol step 4. Then we'll collect that information using the tool, and then we'll go to our support protocol. And visually, to kind of help you out, let's put this here. Okay. And we'll really need to work here. And so I'll probably break this down a little bit more. Let's say ask the user, actually it asks how can we make the day better? To further understand the user's problem or question, ask questions like, ask questions to paint a whole picture of what they are asking. Let me give it some examples here. Examples would be the user is having an issue with their calendar. You would respond by asking if they are seeing an error or it just isn't syncing. And follow question example 1. Let's do question 2, 3, 4. Okay. If the user is wondering how to the AI respond in the CRM, ask the user. I would say, would ask where they are, or catch them up. Have an issue with calendar booking. Ask the user if it's voice or chat. And if they have checked the tool message in chat to see if the calendar data is coming back. And then 4 would be having an issue, is curious about SIP trunking, or let's say importing a number. Would ask if they already have one, or if they are just curious. Ask follow-up questions until you fully have context and understand the user's query. Okay. See the follow-up question examples as a framework to get information from the user conversationally. And I'm going to use this word here, understand the user's problem. Conversationally, ask follow-up questions until you have full context and understanding. And we'll use this right here. Sorry, I won't bore you with those. Okay, so conceptually, let me level with you again here. Conceptually, we have a couple things going on. We have our task, which is kind of starting us out here. It's directing us. Think of this as like a two-dimensional workflow here. We have 3 workflows, 3 protocols, right? We have our tasks. Off of those, we have a support protocol to actually do the triaging and further handling of a support query. And then we have an information protocol in case we don't know who this is, or their name is Orb or something like that. We'll throw all that in there so that we can collect the information which ties back to the support protocol, which ends with a task-based framework. I know it's confusing. I know. But think of it as a two-dimensional workflow. I mean, all these are just conversational pathways, conversational flows here, and we're just directing them where we need to go, right? So right here, they come in, introduction step. If they know the name, then we're going to go to the support protocol because we don't need an information protocol, right? We already know their information. Then we'll start to triage their problem. We're going to ask stuff. We have some examples to follow through, narrow it down, repeat it back to them. And then if everything looks good, this goes to support protocol 3, which is using the knowledge base to query their response, get the response back, and then help them, right? And then go to task step 2, which brings them there before ending the conversation with the user, ask if there's anything else you can help with. If there is, we're going to start our protocol back over to help them with the next thing. Or if there's not, then we're going to end it with the conversation and task framework. Think of it as a two-dimensional workflow here. Okay, so I know conceptually that was like two-dimensional, kind of hard to see. And so, but this is kind of like what it looks like and almost like a workflow type thing, right? Like the user presses the support button and then we're going into the task-based framework. All right, we have an intro section, which is just saying if we don't have their contact information, we're moving on to the next thing, right? After we collect all that, then we start our support process. And we also have the if else here of like if we already have their info, just go straight to support. We already know their info. You don't need to collect it twice. And from there, right, of these two, we've already kind of left this flow. So now we're either in this one or this one. This one goes through that little triage step of like asking further questions, getting a solution via RAG, making sure that that's good to go. And then if it is, we go back to our task-based framework to confirm, to say, is there anything else I can help you with? Obviously, if they say yes, then we go back over here to do it all over again for what they have to say, and then come back. Is there anything else I can help you with? Until they say no, and then we end the call. That's what this is right here in a two-dimensional shape. That's what that does. All right, let's test this out here in the voice lab and see how we did.
Hi there. Thanks for calling in. Can I grab your name to make sure I've got it right on file?
Yep, it's Jordan with an E.
Got it, Jordan with an E. Can you also share your last name so I can make sure everything's set up properly?
Yep, it's Williams.
Thanks, Jordan Williams. Got your name down. Now, can I grab your email address in case I need to send over any resources?
Yep, it's going to be jordan@assistable.ai.
Thanks. Just to confirm, that's Jordan at Assistable, right?
jordan@assistable.ai.
Got it, Jordan at assistable.ai. Thanks for clarifying. Lastly, can I grab your phone number in case we get disconnected?
Yep, it's going to be 770-296-7271.
Thanks. Just to confirm, that's 770-296-7271, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks for confirming. Let me save that real quick. All set, Jordan. How can I make your day easier?
I'm having trouble connecting my calendar.
Got it. Is it not syncing at all, or are you seeing an error message?
I don't see an error message. I click the sync button and then it loads and then it stops and then there's no calendars.
So it seems like the sync isn't completing properly and no calendars are showing up. Does this happen with a specific calendar platform, like Google or Outlook, or is it across the board?
It's just the one that's for the CRM that's in the platform.
Got it. So it's the CRM calendar within the platform. Let me check on this for you real quick. It looks like the issue might be related to an authorization problem. Have you recently updated your login credentials or permissions for the CRM?
No, but I do see there's a red banner at the top that it does say that it's disconnected.
That red banner is a clue. It likely means the connection to the CRM needs to be reauthorized. Can you try reconnecting by logging back into the CRM through the platform? That should refresh the connection. Let me know how it goes.
Okay, I think that worked.
Awesome. Glad that did the trick. Anything else I can help you with?
Nope, that's all.
Thanks for your time, Jordan. Reach out anytime you need help. Have a great day.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to end the call. And of course, we didn't have the RAG in there and we didn't have, this doesn't have a contact assigned to it. So it's not going to remember who I am, but the orbs in general will. And so this is exactly what I'm looking for now that we've kind of done all this, right? We've knocked that out. I thought there was a markout thing here. We'll just mark it as done, green. Maybe a darker green. All right, there we go. This is how you build enterprise AI. Now, I'm going to set up the Buildship workflows. Let's go ahead and get started on that.